Let me just say this right up front. What we're stepping into over the next couple of weeks is not your typical grab your jacket, it's a little breezy kind of forecast. No. This is one of those rare stretches of weather where I literally stop, take a deep breath, and remind myself just how quickly the atmosphere can flip the script. One week we're sweating, the next week we're staring winter right in the face. And that flip, it's about to happen. Right now, plenty of us are still holding on to that summer feel. Down south, folks are baking in the 80s and 90s. The middle of the country, still hot enough to feel like July never ended. But that's what makes this story so wild. Because the atmosphere is about to throw a curveball that's going to jolt people awake. On the horizon, I'm watching one of the first true Arctic blasts of the season. A powerhouse surge of cold air that isn't just cooler weather. This is bone-deep, teeth-chattering, snow-piling cold that could hammer parts of the country with 1, 2, even 3 feet of snow in the higher elevations. And I'm not saying that for drama's sake. I'm saying it because the maps, the models, the signals in the atmosphere are screaming it. Here's what's happening. Right now, that brutally cold air is bottled up way up north. But the Arctic Oscillation, that big driver that tells us if the cold stays trapped or if it breaks loose, is swinging negative. And when that happens, it's like opening the gates to a freezer. Starting around October 10th, those gates, they're wide open. That doesn't mean the cold just tiptoes in. It's not a quick chill that passes in a day. No, this thing digs in, it charges south, and once it locks in, it wants to stay. We could be talking about a stretch of cold, lasting a week, maybe 10 days, maybe longer, pushing right into October 20th. And you can already feel the atmosphere hinting at what's coming. The East Coast is starting to notice cooler than average temps. Out west, the first push of chill is slipping in. But smack in the middle of the country, the Gulf states, the heartland, still clinging to that sweaty summer heat. And it's that sharp contrast. Warmth hanging on in the center, cold pressing on both coasts, that sets the stage. Because once that cold shoves past the Rockies, the entire balance of the season flips. That's when the snow machine roars to life. And listen, I don't just toss around snow hype, but when the European model and the GFS, 2 models that love to argue, actually start agreeing, that's when I sit up and pay attention. And right now, they're painting a picture of the Rockies getting absolutely slammed 1 to 2 feet on the table. Some spots pushing over 2 feet. And if this blast digs deeper into the country, it doesn't just stop there. We're looking at a setup that could drive snow into the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and maybe even the Northeast. So just picture this for a second. It's mid-October. You're sipping your pumpkin spice latte, expecting a crisp fall afternoon. And suddenly you walk outside and it feels like December. Temps in the 20s and 30s. Wind chills biting down into the teens. Heavy, wet snow falling like it's Christmas Eve. That's the kind of shock we're staring at. And let me be real with you. That's not me being dramatic. That's me reading what the atmosphere is spelling out. The AO is negative. The gates are open. The cold is on the move, and the models aren't whispering about light flurries. They're hinting at heavy, disruptive, measurable snow. And here's the kicker. Once that first wave hits, the pattern is set. The jet stream opens the door and keeps it cracked. That means more cold blasts, more snow chances, short warm-ups in between, the kind of rhythm that screams seasonal transition. But let's talk about what it's going to feel like, because numbers only tell part of the story. Out west, you're waking up to mornings in the 20s and 30s, highs struggling to break into the 40s and 50s. On the East Coast, that first big blast hits late week into the weekend, and suddenly you're dusting off winter coats you haven't touched since March. The central states will fight to hold on to warmth a little longer, but trust me, that fight doesn't last. By next weekend, that summer holdout collapses, and then the wind chills. Oh man. We're talking feels like temps in the 20s, in places that normally wouldn't dream of that kind of cold this early in the season. That's frosted windshields in the morning. That's raking leaves while snow's coming down on top of them. That's stepping outside and literally seeing your breath hang in the air while wondering, wait a second, wasn't it 85 degrees just last week? Now, if you've been following along with me, you know we've been watching that system out in the eastern Pacific, still churning, still trying to make a play toward the southwest. That's on top of the storm system lining up for this weekend. And sure enough, the National Weather Service has already put out outlooks that match exactly what we were talking about yesterday. Over by Florida, they've got that little highlighted risk zone showing up. And that means thunderstorms, heavy rain, and plenty of unsettled weather are on the table. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Out in the Atlantic, we've got another tropical wave sliding toward the MDR, and I've been saying all along, the middle of this month is when the gears really start grinding. All roads point back to that Central American gyre. From there, things can break east into the Pacific, swing up into the Gulf, or hook northeast into the Atlantic. But here's the bottom line. Wherever it goes, it's feeding into one of the most volatile setups I've seen on the charts in a long, long time. And we're not just talking tropical threats. Oh no, we've still got cold blasts charging south, warm surges building back in, and yes, snowfall already showing up. It's a collision course, folks. Warmth, cold, tropical energy, and the strongest atmospheric support we've had all season long, all coming together at once. Now, let's dive in. Out in the Pacific, we've got Octave spinning and another system likely to become Priscilla. Odds are sky high for development. We're talking 90% in the next 7 days. And if Priscilla hugs that southwest coast, that means winds, flooding rains, and a whole lot of problems for the Four Corners. Some guidance says it may hug the shoreline. Others keep it just offshore. But either way, it's going to be close. And I'll keep you updated every step of the way. Meanwhile, back in the Atlantic, that little yellow circle by Florida, that's sitting at 10% for development. Slow mover, dragging moisture across the peninsula, and possibly into the Gulf. And here's the kicker. Google's AI guidance is spitting out tracks that don't even line up with the Euro or the official Hurricane Center forecasts. Once again, it's a reminder that not all models are created equal. I'm sticking with the proven guidance, and that tells me Florida needs to watch this closely for flooding rains and storms, even if it never becomes a named system. Now let's talk about that MDR wave. It's still a week away, but early model runs are already hinting at trouble for the Lesser Antilles. Some runs bend it northward early, others let it sneak west and strengthen late. And if it takes that path, we could be talking impacts for Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, maybe even Jamaica or the Bahamas. Nothing's set in stone yet, but the clock is ticking. And I'm telling you right now, people in the Caribbean need to keep both eyes on this one. Here's where things get even crazier. From October 8th through the 14th, we hit the jackpot of atmospheric support, the MJO phase, the rising motion, the heat content in the Caribbean, all peaking together. And listen, the sea surface temps are record-breaking. The Gulf, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, untouched fuel sitting there all season long, waiting for the right spark. Any wave that taps into it is going to explode, and that's why I keep saying, this could be the moment where we see a true monster storm develop, and it doesn't stop with the tropics. 3 separate storm systems are gearing up to slam the Rockies and the northern plains back to back to back. Each one colder, each one snowier. First, it's a glancing shot. Then it's heavier. Then it's feet of snow. The battle between the Arctic air crashing south and the stubborn warmth still clinging on. That's where severe weather is going to flare up. We're talking damaging winds, hail, and maybe even bigger surprises as these systems fire. So, here's the picture. Possible Priscilla slamming the southwest, a sneaky disturbance near Florida, a tropical wave threatening the Caribbean, and 3 cold shots lined up with snow and severe weather potential, all of it crashing together in the strongest, most favorable environment of the year. Folks, I can't say this enough. The middle of October is shaping up to be the turning point. This is when everything converges. So stay locked in, stay prepared, and stick with me, because I'll be breaking it all down in real time as it unfolds. And hey, before I close this out, let me just say thank you. Your support, your likes, your shares, it means the world to me, and it keeps this channel going. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss the updates.